live martial arts class, we'll discover how to spin a staff with one hand and with two hands. We're gonna warm up with a nice, easy twisting motion. Just hold the staff in the middle of your hand. Either hand will do. You're just gonna twist up one way and then the other way. Slow it first, gradually increasing your speed. As you get that blood flowing, you wanna lubricate the joints, stay safe from injury in this beginner workout. You're gonna twist it up, one side and the other side. The more you twist it, depending on the weight of your staff, the more movement you're gonna get in your wrist, the more flexibility. Bring it into the other hand and twist it up. Been watching a lot of videos lately on the Indian martial arts, Silambam, Kirapati, and I saw this new movie that's coming out called Jungli with an Indian martial arts actor. And he's doing some Silambam, but he's also doing a lot of staff work. His name is Vidyut Jamwal. He's kind of like he moves like Tony Jaa, if you've ever seen Tony Jaa in any of the martial arts movies. That's what he reminds me of. Probably because I think the fight director is probably the same. Anyway, if you've seen that movie trailer for Jungli, you'll see it's a jungle movie, but in there, the martial arts actor has to fight the bad guys always, right? But he fights them with the martial arts staff. This is your warm-up, just one hand to the other one. You have to get the blood flowing. But in that movie, he's doing a lot of two-handed spinning this way, which we're gonna do a little bit of today. But then he's also doing some behind the back and over the head, kind of like Ray Park when he played Darth Maul in Star Wars. Reminds me a lot, it's a lot of the same moves, but that's from the Chinese martial arts. And when he's fighting, he's doing some of the Japanese style martial arts. So when you see a lot of those movies, depending on who the stunt director is or the fight choreographer, you're gonna see different styles. And then when you go, you look it up, how do I fight like, say like Morgan from The Walking Dead? Well, he's doing a very unique style. Hello, Marion, it's good to see you. So you've done this warm up, side to side. Now I want you to put it in the left hand, put your left foot forward, left hand forward, and you're gonna do this single hand spin first. Going one side of the body to the other side, figure eight spin, an endless spin, infinity spin. You're just leading slowly with the thumb. It's good to see you. Hope you're training today. And then you speed it up, put it in the other hand, and start to do the same single hand spin on the other hand. Bring it back to that first hand. All you're doing is you're carving this sideways figure eight with your thumb. The staff is in your hand, just in the middle. You find the balance point, but you're leading with that thumb and you're just doing that sideways motion, coming to the outside of the body, the inside of the body. Learn first how to spin with one hand and then put it into the other hand to get it to the other hand. As it comes to the opposite side of the body, to the right side, your right hand comes up, palm to palm, or palms up, pinky to pinky, takes it, and it's the same sideways figure eight spin, and then squeeze the abs tightly. As you speed up, you'll get more speed, more power. Put it back into the other hand, and then practice going from one hand to the other hand. Still a single-handed spin, moving forward and back, stepping in and out, and that's all this is, stepping forward, stepping back, but you have to start moving a little bit or you'll never improve your skill level. You want to go from a beginner to intermediate, just add the step, that's it. Then, reverse everything, pulling back, pulling back. First in the left hand, And then when you change hands, you change on the same side, it's the opposite of the other one. My right hand comes over to the left side, still palms up, still pinky to pinky, but then my right hand, which is in front, is going to pull it out. Good, grab your staff. I'll be here when you get back. Pulling it up and up and up, and gradually increasing speed, stomach up and in, abs tight. Add a little move in your hips, your midsection to get more speed, and then bring it back into the other hand. Thank you, I appreciate that. You guys make me a better teacher, by the way, with your feedback. All your comments in the comment section that I can read after, like later tonight, right? You offer suggestions or tips or thoughts, or tell me what worked, what didn't work. And then you share these videos with others. That helps me grow the channel. Bring it back into the other one. Pinky to pinky, pinky to pinky. Vic, we're just going in reverse. Side to side to go from beginner to the beginning of intermediate. Just add a step forward and a step back. We're still spinning with one hand. So all one-handed spins at the beginning. We're going to do bow staff spinning with one hand, martial arts staff spinning with two hands, any style. It's all about the same. The purpose is the same. Spinning is to build speed, strength, coordination, focus, discipline, all that. And then when you start to do combat bow or you fight, it becomes a little bit different, but you have that strength. Yes, send me that email if you haven't already, pasquinelli@hotmail.com or pasquinelli@gmail.com. You can see how to spell it on my channel here, how to spell my last name. Then, in one hand, you're gonna go back into the forward spin. And that's the same as this that you just warmed up with. One side and then the other side. But you're doing it to the front of your body and to the back of your body. Increasing your speed. Put it in the other hand, palms up, pinky to pinky. And from here, it's a reverse spin. When I went from the right hand to the left hand, it went into a reverse, but it kept spinning in the same direction. So the staff is spinning the same direction, but my hand is moving in a different direction. From here, when I bring it to here, this is 72 inches or 6 feet. Not sure how many centimeters that is. See how it's going forward? This is that forward spin. I could reverse it here. If I were to reverse it and bring it over to the left side, my right hand would take it over top, or my left hand takes it over the top, and then I'm in the forward spin. I bring it back into palm up to a reverse spin, reverse to get it over to the other side, left hand over the right. This time it's different. It's not pinky to pinky, it's thumb to pinky, and palms facing the opposite direction to go from reverse to forward, then to go back to here. Now, we can go over that transition again in a minute, but I want to show you the same spin, but with two hands. When I do the left hand, this is where you started with me, left foot forward, simply putting the right hand directly next to the left hand. This is one way to spin with two hands in the figure eight spin. I'm going to show you both ways. This way is very similar. You'll see this a lot in the Indian style, the Tamil style Silambam. You can go really, really fast, both forward and in the reverse. But that's all it is. If you think about pushing one, it's definitely faster spinning with one hand, depending on how you're also moving your body. You can increase the speed if you get your stomach up and in. I'm showing you from a squared position, both feet squarely facing you. So the staff has to move over here and over here, and it's not as fast. If I put one foot in front of the other, it becomes a lot faster with two hands. One foot in front of the other with one hand, I can go fast, but this is kind of a light medium weight staff. It's not the lightest, but it's certainly not heavy. So with one hand, I can get a lot of speed. With two hands, I can actually get a lot more speed. And with two hands, I'd feel more comfortable hitting somebody if I had to while I'm spinning my staff, because I have two hands on it. And these are really hard strikes coming through. And you find that out when you hit yourself, right? But again, separating the hands, striking this way in the traditional style is more effective for self-defense. This is a nice warm-up. Get your blood flowing, burn some calories, engage the core muscles, build some strength. Back to the two-handed spin, but in a different way. Now, this is Indian style, Silambam, Kirapati, this kind. This is more Japanese style. And you can kind of like think of stirring a pot. You can spin two hands this way, but in the Japanese style, there's not a lot of spinning, or there's almost none. Really, the only spinning that you see is when you go to the shorter sticks, like the Joe. Awesome, I appreciate that. Congratulations. You spin, you go into your strikes, and you spin back into the other hand position. Hand position just changed, hand position changes, and that's the purpose of spinning the Japanese styles. But in the Korean, which is kind of a mix of the Japanese and the Chinese styles, they're more like the Chinese style, which is both hands like this. And now you can spin very quickly with your hands together. It doesn't work though, because it's too much torque and movement. When your hands are together, you have to have it like this. Follow me and you'll learn how to do this very quickly. So, but this is what I wanted you to see. When you watch like a movie, and like the one we were talking about, Jung Lee is the new movie coming out. It's an Indian movie, Bollywood movie with Vidya Jamwal, I think. And it has a Chinese fight director. So the guy behind the scenes teaching the actors how to fight. And so in some scenes, you see the actor, he's wearing traditional Tamil clothes, and he's doing the Silambam style. But then it cuts later, and he's doing kind of over the head, and he does a hand twist up there, and then he goes into this very quick spinning, and some of that is the Silambam, but mostly that comes from the wushu or the kung fu style, right? Or where they use the Chinese bong or the gun, whichever style they're using, and the length of the staff. And sometimes they have this style here, and then this move, and he strikes, and he's coming to the floor, and he sweeps, and he jumps, and he pops, and that's more of the Chinese style. But then they show him fighting some bad guys, and he's striking like this, which is more of the Japanese style. And then his stick gets cut in half, and all of a sudden he's fighting with a stick in each hand, and that is the Eskrima, Kali, Salat. So when you watch a movie and you say, wow, I want to learn how to do that, you have to understand a lot of things, like Star Wars, for example. Ray Park, the actor who's playing Darth Maul, he can't do the things you would do with the Japanese staff all the time, because if it were real, if lightsabers were real, he'd cut himself in half, right? So he's doing a combination of this, but then he's doing this, which is not a Japanese style. But he is spinning when he's striking and moving. And so there's a mixture of all these styles. If you look at a lot of action movies now, the directors of those action movies, they've learned all martial arts. The best action directors, they have a wide range. It's like a toolbox, right? They pull some Chinese out, they pull some of the Indian styles out, they pull some of the Japanese, they get some Filipino elbows and knees, and they get some Muay Thai kicks, and they get all kinds of different styles, and they put them together, and it makes it very entertaining and fun to watch. Awesome. Yeah, get on that today. What else are you gonna do? Stuck inside, right? Or hopefully it's beautiful and you can be out in a little patch of grass somewhere sanding your staff. But the point is, follow all these different styles, and you can learn how to fight and do all those cool things. Now, if you're just focused on self-defense, then find the self-defense moves that work best for you. All right, going back to the one-handed spin and the two-handed spin. This time I want you to take the staff in the right hand and I want you to do that forward spin to the side and the back. It's in the right hand. And then I want you to step with your left foot here, turn your body, and then allow it to go into a reverse spin. So now you're in a reverse spin, take a step, and see right here, it was reverse over here, and then it adds a little turn there, and then I'm back forward, step, and now you're in reverse. If I were doing that facing you, it would look like this, forward, and then I'm here, and then I step back, and it's forward. And I want you to learn how to move. Now we're talking a little bit, not beginner, but more intermediate, right? So we're going forward, take a step, and allow your body, without stopping the staff, to continue moving, and just play around with that a little bit. So back to forward, turn, and now you're in the reverse. Put it in the other hand. Let's do forward over here, forward on the left. Take a step. Still the left hand, but now it's spinning in reverse, and you didn't change, you didn't stop the spin. You have to allow the spin to keep going. Yes, good, I'm glad you hit yourself. I hit myself already 4 times. I just didn't wince. I don't know if you saw it or not. And then you step. Last weekend, I think it was last Friday, or maybe it was the Sunday workout, I whacked myself good. I'm still feeling that. From here, spinning, bring it into the other hand, then take that step, go into the forward spin, put it in the other hand, take a step and do the reverse spin, and just add that change of hands and taking a step. Yes. So you're moving just a little, one step into the other hand, first hand, moving back, and just practice now moving forward a little bit. Let me show you coming at you. Moving forward and then turning around. And when I'm around here, I'm in reverse. Let me show you the opposite. So if I'm over here going forward, I'm stepping, and I turn around, now I'm in the reverse. So practice that, moving forward and back using one hand to spin the staff. Then go back to that split grip and practice the same thing. Stepping and turning. All of a sudden I'm in the reverse. All of a sudden I'm going forward again. I'll show you going this way. Forward and then turn. Doesn't stop moving. You're in the reverse, turning to the other side, forward, and then reverse. But try to teach yourself that transition from going in the positive or the forward direction, and just simply by turning your hips and reorienting your mind, put your focus over here. Now you're in reverse. Put your focus back, forward, and then into the reverse. Then the other, or the two hand, almost like you're doing a push-up. Think of this in terms of strikes, and this will help you pick it up faster too. From here, put it to the side of your body. This is a nice block, by the way. A good block practice. Pushing across, push across. From here, take the end of this staff. No, but if you have a 4-foot bow, you really have a Joe or a Han bow, which is just the shortest version. But if you're inside and you have a low ceiling, that's perfect. You can't use one of these. Use what you've got. From here, push this down. Think of this end hitting them right on top of the head. So from here, strike. Now turn so that the backhand, which is my left, comes up and it also strikes. So I have 1 strike, 2 strike. Yes, if you're inside, use your shorter staff. Also, sometimes when I'm inside, I squat down. That way, like if I wanted to do my helicopter spins over my head, one side, next side, behind the back, over the head. And sometimes I have to do that here for the camera anyway, because I don't want to move the camera all around. But you can always bend your knees, you can always squat a little bit. Yes, I have probably 30 of those. You just have to find them. I realized the other day I have like 1,000 videos between Facebook and YouTube. Original videos, I've got about 1,300, right? but they didn't always get on both platforms. But like I've done every combination at least 5 or 6 times because people keep asking for it, and it's hard for them to find it in the search. So I go and I just make a new one. So anyway, we're here, right? This is the Ray Park. If you ever wanted to learn how to fight like Darth Maul from Star Wars, Ray Park was the actor. This is all he did. Not all that he did, but this is one of the things he did the most. He did this thing behind his back and over his head, and then he'd get into this pose. That's like his signature pose for that movie, Darth Maul. But he also, when he fought with 2 hands, he would come down, striking. Sorry, this hand, down, striking, and then deflect. He would block the lightsaber coming from here, spinning it up, and then he would do the same thing over here. Down, block, down, deflect, strike, and then when you start to step forward, and then when you turn, you keep doing the same motion, it's going to put it in reverse, but then it's going to at some point, he's going to pull one hand off, and he's going to do all that one-handed stuff. I must just hit myself in the head again. Do all that one-handed stuff and behind his back, and then when he's ready, he's going to go into reverse grip, and he's going to fight this way. And what you don't see sometimes is that an actor or a martial artist who's used to it, who's practiced a lot, their hands are constantly switching as the staff is rotating. See how my hands are constantly switching? They never lose contact. I never take my hand off, but I'm constantly switching, and he's doing this motion until he gets back into this motion. I only know that because I slowed it down so I could see what he's doing. I had to watch it like 12 times. But back to the single-handed spin, I want to show you one more thing, which is this wrist roll, the back of the hand, the wrist roll, one way and the other way. And you're going to use this wrist roll for 2 things. One is to build strength. You mean under the arm, like over the back of the shoulder, under the arm? Or do you mean this goofy American karate thing they do? Sorry, I still can't, I try not to be judgmental when it comes to stuff. But this thing they call it the figure 4. And the elbow is like up like this. That's the weakest, it puts all the pressure on your shoulder. If you were to get hit, like if you punch in boxing or martial arts, some people when they're, neck rolls, over your neck, front or back, right? It's all about keeping it close to your body, whether you're going in the front, I forgot there was a tripod right there, or if you're going to the back. And it's about having your other hand ready. It's the same thing as if you have a nunchucks. I love to do neck rolls with nunchucks because they look scary if you've never done it. And if you put your hand on the wrong side of your face, you're smacking yourself. Same thing's true with this. If my hand's here, I'm gonna hit myself when it comes around. If I'm here, it's just gonna roll into the other hand. And I'm trying not to hit the tripod again. I have a limited space, but that's basically the idea. Put your hand here first, practice slowly, get your other hand as close to your body as you can, and then when it rolls around the back of your head, it's on the other side. That's the reverse neck roll. The one in the front, it's basically the same thing, but usually your body's turning while you're doing it. Back to the spins. So we have the wrist roll, here, wrist roll. So this is going to engage these muscles and the tendons, and the heavier your staff is and the faster you spin, you're gonna start to build because you go around fast and you stop it, right? You throw it back the other way, one way, and the other way. And all I'm doing is, when it's coming here to the small side of my hand, I open my hand, I let it balance and roll, and then the hand that it's on, it has to turn quickly to catch it, and then when I bring it back, it's going up to the thumb side, and then my hand, it's balanced there, and then I turn here. Wow, that's awesome. Thanks for that feedback, that's fantastic. Good for you too. I mean, you know, I only show you what to do, but you guys do all the work. It's your sweat, blood, and it's your lumps in your head and your legs, and right, not mine. But I really appreciate that feedback. Keep training. Yeah, but this is all this is. It looks, almost all these things look complicated, and they're not. But that doesn't mean they're easy. Just because it's not complicated, it's easy to understand, that doesn't necessarily make it easy to do. That's where you have to pay the price. Yeah, it's gonna drop every time. It's gonna drop every time until you stop dropping it. But here's what I find so fascinating, right? Because when I was younger, they didn't have all the video games that they have now, but they had some, right? And then as I got older and I was a young Marine and I had downtime and there were some video games, we would spend hours and hours. And I know you've spent hours and hours trying to beat the level and go to the next level. And then you lose and you start over. You lose and you start over. And for some reason, because of the way those are designed to get your brain focused in there, you keep going, right? But sometimes when you see something like this, and this is ego, you got to get your ego out of the way. Your ego says you're not supposed to be dropping it so much. But that's not true. Yes, good, many lumps and bruises. You're supposed to drop it. The only reason, listen to this very close. I was working with my sister-in-law. We were boxing the other day because we're all stuck, but family could come and help me clean the school. So she was here to help me clean, but we ended up getting a workout in because she hasn't had a workout. And she said to me, how come, why, when you do this, it looks like this, and when I do it, it looks like this? And I said, because I've been doing it since I'm 9 years old, and that's not an exaggeration. I've been messing with the staff since I was 9 years old, so when I do it, I'm not dropping it very much. But I've already paid that price to be able to do this. If you haven't paid the price yet, good. That should be exciting, because all you have to know is simply taking action every day, even if it's 2 minutes a day, you're gonna get here, no matter who you are. And anything I can do, 31, I mean, you're like, you could live to be 131 years old. If you're under the age of 40, then science is getting so good, you could live to be 130 years old, easily. So if you're 31, you have 100 years left, right? What are you waiting for? If you're 50, you might have another 30 or 40 or 50 years. And that's the truth, unless, the Wuhan comes and gets us all. But it looks like maybe it's not as deadly as they originally thought or told us. I don't know what they thought. Anyway, good. But if you never drop, maybe you're not going fast enough or hard enough. When I really get into it and I really start to push it, that's when I hit myself or I drop it. So I also want you to still drop it. I still drop it, but just not as much. And you drop it still because you are pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. All growth happens outside of your comfort zone. You have to fight to get better. And this is what most people do. They fight to quit. They find all the reasons why they can't. They listen to other people. They can list, they list them all out. And they're fighting for that. And you might be standing there saying, no, don't think that way. Be positive. Listen, you need more time, we'll give you time. No, I don't. Well, if I had time, I still couldn't do it because I don't have the right size. I'll get you the right size. Keep going. And they'll say, no, even if I had the right size, I have to train inside. Well, look, I'll give you one that cuts in half and you can practice it. I'll show you new No, because then, I have to move it. But they find every reason. And every time have you ever done this? You're trying to help somebody and everything you say that you think is helpful, and that's a clue too. After you do it for a while, just stop trying to be helpful unless they ask. You have to work with the people who deserve it, not the people who need it. We always try to find and help people who need it. We try to tell them, but they don't deserve it because they haven't done the basic work. When they come to you and they start to ask, and you say, well, this is what you do. And the ones who really, truly deserve it, they take that action. But you know what I'm talking about. You've talked to that person. You've given them everything. They say, I can't do it because of this, and you solve it for them. And they say, well, I can't do it because of this, and you solve that. I can't do it because of that, and you solve that. And you could have 1,000,000 fingers that you solved, and they'd find 1,000,001 reasons why. They're fighting as hard as they can to quit, to give up, to not try. You have to fight as hard as you can, and you just need one reason why. One, that's it. Because you want to, because it's your passion. Because what else are you gonna do? You're gonna die anyway, one day, maybe in 100 years from now, like we said. A year from now, you're gonna be a year older. So why not start now? You say, oh, I'm already 40 years, I'm already 50, I'm already 72 years old. Well, 5 years from now, you're gonna be 5 years older. Why not learn something in those 5 years? Find one reason, hold on to it, and fight for it. All right, So back to the spins, or the wrist rolls. The first reason you do the wrist roll is to build that speed and power and get your hands used to this. Yeah, and pretty soon the woo hand's gonna be over, right? You're gonna know a whole new skill. Or you could be like a lot of people and they watch the Tiger Guy, whatever the Tiger Man is, Tiger King or something, and they watch Tiger King and they ate a bunch of garbage and they filled their mind with negative nastiness and you were spinning a stick, right? Yeah, Tiger King. I haven't seen it. I don't want to see it. I have zero interest in watching a bunch of people misbehaving. Watch what you stick in your head, right? Put this in your head. All right, anyway, you're spinning here, and I want you to do the wrist roll over here, and then the wrist roll over here. Wrist roll here. Honestly, if it's not a kid's show, because I have my kids all the time, and teaching them school during the day, helping out the teacher, whatever, because we're all working from home, including the kids. So I don't get to see much since I've had kids for 6 years. I haven't seen many adult-themed shows. And I don't mean like adult, but just, you know, over the age of a cartoon. So from here to here, Star Wars, that's about it. We're finally at the Star Wars age. But you're doing a wrist roll, and that's the small side of the hand when you're on the same side. This is my right hand on the right side. It's that wrist roll over the back. And you could also do it here. If you were to reverse it, you just do the opposite. So on this side you do, this is that reverse spin. Remember we were doing this? You can also do the wrist rolls in reverse. It's just a transition move. But when you're going forward, this is what I want you to do. Wrist roll over here, and now it's going to go over the thumb side, wrist roll. So it's wrist roll to wrist roll. If you also know how to do the finger roll, you would do the finger roll over here into a wrist roll, and then if you reverse it, you just reverse it. Finger roll happens there, wrist roll happens here. The second thing I want you to do is back to that two-handed spin, two hands on a staff, but this time palms facing opposite directions. And this is where you do the wrist roll out over the back of the hand and you stop it here. And the wrist roll here to here. And this does two things too. This is gonna build speed, power, dexterity, everything you need in your grip for when you're fighting. But it's also, here's my left palm up. Now I have my strikes, right? Striking, these strikes. Got all my good strikes here with my left hand in the lead. But now I want to put my right hand in the lead, so I'm going to come into this. Yeah, that's what we're doing right here. Right here, these are strikes, strike, strike, and then spin over to get it into the other hand. Now, when you're fighting, you're not going to be behind your back, you know, and you can fight that way. If you're doing a movie, and maybe that's what you want to do. You want to do a really cool demo, and maybe you would, you know, you'd spin it here and here, but then this hand would come here, and then you would add that striking, and then you'd come over back into maybe a single-handed spin, or behind the back, or turning. If I was going to throw it in the ceiling, throw it, catch it, finger roll. But then back into fighting, spinning, and then, you know, thrusting. And there's so many cool, especially with these rattan. This is a rattan staff. Rattan really shakes, which is real fun. So if I were to, so like this is a striking motion. Two hands facing each other. Think about like stirring. So your hands are making opposite circles. And then strike. And the bigger you make that, the harder the strike. The harder this comes straight down. Right there. You will too. And that's what I mean. Like a year from now, if you do nothing, you'll look just the same. A year from now, if you do like even 2 minutes a day, you'll be at least as good as I am. From here, I do that strike, pull, and then I have this pull cue strike. Think about going through his throat. Pull cue strike, right? And then I can bring it up or around my body. I can even turn, jump, strike, and then I'm back up into the spins, into a single spin, and then I'm fighting again. And you're gonna get all that when you practice a single hand spin, a double handspin, and then also practice your strikes, and then just slow it all down. And imagine doing one thing. Yeah, it's the same footwork. Especially if you think of old style, what they call the poge, the pyongwon, the long karate style stances, like the front stance and the back stance, the horse riding stance, all the traditional that you still see in Dangsudo or that you would see in like Shotokan karate, which I think is, if you look at the truth of Taekwondo, a lot of the guys came from karate years ago. Well, they don't like to talk about it now because of nationalism, pride, or whatever. And then the new styles, the Taeguk, what they call the walking stances. So many traditionalists like me resisted forever. And we say, why would you want to do the walking stance? That's garbage. But all it is just a shorter stance. When you fight, you don't do any of those stances, right? You get light on your feet. If it's boxing, just back and forth. You know, if it's Taekwondo, it's bouncing, switching. But it's all specific to the style that you're doing. And there's value in all of it. They're all just different. Why you do one stance over a different stance, they're all different. And then you get into the Wing Chun, and you have to do the 1, 2, 3, down, and you're doing this thing, and you're like, what is that? Until you start doing some Wing Chun punches and some hubad, lubad, and all that stuff. And you say, oh, okay, I might not do my Wing Chun in a street fight. Even though I know there are a lot of videos out there on how to win the street fight with the Wing Chun punch, I wouldn't, not me personally. I've had a lot of experience boxing. I'm going to boxing and grappling. Boxing and grappling, I'm gonna learn how to move in. I'm gonna hit you before you can hit me, ideally. And I'm older, but timing and distance, that's the value of being an older martial artist or an older fighter, is that you've been around long enough and you've practiced enough consistently for all that time that you realize your body doesn't stay young forever, but your mind is always finding a new level, right? That's the great thing about being older. And you can beat a younger, faster, stronger opponent if you have good timing and distance. Timing and distance only comes from experience. And you can get that experience at any age. 47 is definitely not too young, right? All right, so let's finish up. Let's go back to where we started at the very beginning. I want you to twist. I just added this in the last year or so, and I've noticed that I have zero tightness, zero pain, nothing but more like super strong grip, much stronger grip, just adding this from side to side. And I think because it breaks it down to even smaller piece, which is how I like to teach, and then you go into the other hand. Yeah, perfect. Keep it simple. Immediate, direct, and explosive. Straight line when you attack and then move to the side. 2 punches and a lateral move. As Pat McNamara. If you guys don't know who Pat Mac is, follow this guy. T-Max, T-M-A-C-S. He's an old Delta guy. If you know what Delta means, the unit, CAG. For any of you who've ever been around that world. He's a tier 1 operator. Most people only know like Navy SEALs, Green Berets, that's tier 2. Except for like the Spec Dev guys or the SEAL Team 3 or whatever it is. Those guys are 6. Those guys are tier 1. Tier 1 is the top of the top. Anyway, Pat Mac teaches something called combat strength training, I think. I don't remember now. Combat conditioning or something like that. But it's really smart. Yeah, Canadians have tier 1 guys. All countries have tier 1 guys. From one side to the other side, just going from one hand to the other hand. And then I wanted you to do your figure 8 or the endless spin, going forward, going back, and then to the side, and then going from one hand for a forward into a reverse, and then turning your body as you did it. I think I showed you stepping behind, but it's the same thing. You can do forward across your body, you can do reverse on the same side. That's another way to do it. So forward here, and then you just bring it over here, reverse, forward. Then if you want, put it behind your back and bring it out. Behind your back and bring it out. I don't think we did this one, but let's add it now. all you're doing when you put it behind your back, see what I did? I just grabbed it below it, and then I'm going to pull it out. Now there are two ways. One way is with the staff perpendicular, coming out of the ground like a tree, and the other way is flat. So behind your back, you can either come to here, or I like the first way better, just because it comes all the way out. It helps. I like the way it feels when I spin it. The other way feels like I'm taking it too soon, but it's not wrong. It's simply different. Turning, and then bring your arms straight up in the air. From behind my back, I just bring my arms straight up as it's turning, and now I've got a helicopter over my head. Now, when you were doing this at the beginning, yeah, I think it looks smoother too. But with the other staff that one of the staffs I have, which is a competition staff, it's made out of graphite maybe, it's so light that you almost need to do it that flat way. And then you whip it out this way. But again, it's a little bit different technique. So we're here. The school I spent a long time with, they had one of the instructors, one of my favorite guys, is in Ontario, Canada. He's a Korean Oriental medicine doctor. I don't know if they still call it, it's called Oriental Martial Arts College, OMAC. And he's up there. And he's great with the staff too. Some of the best martial artists in the world come out of that group. So you're just going behind the back and over your head. When you go up over your head, all you're doing, remember this spin? It's the same exact thing, just in a different plane. You can reverse directions. You can send it back the other way. But that's all that is. Behind the back, over your head, put two hands on it. Yes, rewatch it when you have time. I'm just kind of reviewing what we did. Two-handed this way works when the hands are here. You can do it this way, but that's where the hands grip starts to change. You don't have to learn this today. Just pick up what you can pick up. The other way, two-handed, figure eight spin. The Darth Maul, Ray Park, Star Wars spin. Two hands like that. Lots of striking. Yeah, get that good sunshine. And then, we did wrist roll to wrist roll. So small side to thumb side. And then we did two-handed wrist rolls so that we could go into a striking combination. Striking and fighting. All you're doing is you're pushing down with the hand that's facing the ground, and it's going to roll over that hand and come to a stop. And then you push it back. Oh, wait a minute. No, you're pushing up with the front hand. Pushing up, pushing up. 1, 2, just like that. Just practice that for a while. You can see it starts to really fire all those muscles, giving you that super strong wicked grip. And then just play around with it. This is what freestyle is. Freestyle is when you do a couple spins and then go slow enough, think in your head, okay, what am I going to do here? I'm going to strike here and here, and then go into a single-handed spin. What am I going to do? I'm going to allow it to change hands, and then I'm going to grab it, and I'm going to strike with two hands, and then I'm going to go back out to one hand, do a wrist roll. And you don't have to think it all the way through. After a while, you want to get that empty mind, right? Yeah, I will. You get that empty mind till I'm dead. Get the empty mind, and then you just slowly go through. Some things are going to work, some things aren't going to work. Sometimes you're going to drop it, sometimes you're going to hit your head, sometimes you'll hit your knee. But you'll start to figure out what you can do and what comes before and after and how to keep it in motion. And sometimes it'll look pretty, and sometimes it'll look ugly, and sometimes it'll look like you don't know what you're doing, and sometimes it'll look like you're the master. But you got to do it. You got to get out of your comfort zone, and you have to go. All right. Yeah, sand it down. Did you get any splinters? either get thicker skin or sand it down. All right, thanks so much. Put your comments in the comment section below, please. Share this with others if you can. Let's grow this group, and I'll see you on